Okay, chat. Yes, I'm gonna start it. Chat. Scary ring cam
Chat,
vid.
can you do Nyan,
Chat,
please,
I have
for
to
the
eat. Chat, I have to eat.
XQCL?
Oh, this one is new.
Home security technology has come a long way. Doorbell cameras such as Ring have become extremely popular in recent years, acting as an effective deterrent from potential robbers or any other kind of unwelcomed guests.
Chat, be nice for a second.
Their
He's
ability to
chilling.
record video whenever someone comes within range to the front of a house or any other section of the house that they're
Right.
installed in creates an added level of security to a person's home. With the millions of Ring doorbell cameras installed throughout America has come a lot of creepy footage, including the following. This first piece of footage was captured by the Ring camera in the LeMay household. It happened on a cold December night in 2019. A stranger hacked into the LeMay family's Ring security system and had watched them around their home. And for nearly 10 minutes, he interacted with 8-year-old Alyssa. Not only was he able to watch her, but he was able to communicate noises to her, as he had access to a second system placed in the girl's babysitter's room downstairs. Alyssa then heard music coming from upstairs in her bedroom, which she shared with her. Actually realized someone was watching her in the bedroom because the blue light from the Ring camera was blinking. Then, in a strange man's voice, she heard this.
Hello there.
The 8-year-old gasped and tried to figure out where the voice was coming from. She would pick up her toys to see if they were what was making the noises. She scanned the room, and moments later, the man started screaming a racial slur at her over and over, until Alyssa responded by screaming this.
What? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
The man proceeded to tell her to go call her mom the racial slur and demand that she repeat it back to him. Moments later, the voice would reply to Alyssa, asking who are you, by saying he's her best friend, he's Santa Claus.
All right, chat, what is going on
I'm
here?
your best
The
friend.
chair has taken
I'm
over
Santa
the
Claus.
stream. XQC chair, nails.
Yo, shut up.
I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be my best friend?
Is that a badge cuck or what?
I'm Santa Claus.
After all of this, the man tries to tell the girl she can do whatever she wants, including break things in her room.
I'm your best friend. You can do whatever you want right now.
What the fuck?
You can mess up your room. You can break your TV. You can do whatever you want.
The LeMay family, who resides in Memphis, Tennessee, hoped to use the device to keep an eye on their daughters while they played. The scary thing is that it took only a few days for the camera to be hacked. Perhaps the scariest thing is that no one knows how long he had access to the device. This could have gone on even longer if the hacker decided not to produce any sounds through the device. Put yourself in the little girl's shoes. Imagine hearing a creepy song playing in your bedroom, not knowing where it's coming from, only to realize that it's coming from a camera system that you set up in there.
Chat.
Someone
chat,
could be watching you.
Chat. If you were to be really fucking cooked up, imagine chat. You put a sound. It's like a scratching or something really annoying, and the guy hears it and he asks like his mom or his family, like, "Yo, do you guys hear this?" And anytime they come in, right, you stop playing it. As soon as they get out, you start playing it again. And then he goes actually insane.
Now imagine waking up to that in the middle of the night.
Actually insane.
In another similar scenario, here's the footage from a Ring camera that was also taken over by a hacker who attempted to speak to a young girl while she was watching television.
What you watching? Hey, what show is that?
The father and homeowner, Adam Kerselik, had set up the Ring camera in his kitchen. In the footage, a voice can be heard speaking to his daughter after he momentarily leaves the room.
I've seen that show before.
What the fuck?
What season, Jan? Hello?
Yum.
When Adam re-enters the room and opens the fridge, the voice says, "What are you eating?"
Hello? What are you eating? You hungry?
He looks around at first, rightfully confused as to where the voice could be coming from, though he eventually catches on and approaches the camera as he asks, "Who is this?"
Powering off.
That's
Hello.
fucking weird.
This is Ring.
Adam disabled the camera shortly after the video ends, and he expressed his disappointment in Amazon's lack of security on their products. He said he was never advised to set up two-factor verification when he installed the camera 6 months prior. Because of the lack of security on the Ring devices, he has since taken down all his interior cameras. This and the Lemoy family's horror stories aren't the only ones of their kind, though, as since 2019, over 10 other families in different states had reported that hackers have spoken to them through the devices. On November 12, 2019, the disturbing footage of a woman screaming for help was captured from a Ring doorbell's camera in a small neighborhood of Los Angeles around 11 p.m. The screaming is followed by a white vehicle speeding down the street with the trunk open, from which the screaming is coming from.
What the fuck? What the fuck? It's just...
Police were not aware of the doorbell footage until the following morning, but on the night of November 12th, they responded to a report of a possible kidnapping. Police couldn't find any evidence of a kidnapping at first. However, after the footage came to light, the LAPD reopened their investigation. A witness claimed she also heard a man say, "I'm sorry," which you can hear in the video at one point. The sad thing is, this was 2 years ago, and nothing ever surfaced with this. If this was an actual kidnapping, the kidnappee was never found.
What the fuck?
This was the footage captured around 3 a.m. on a man's Ring camera. Not much more information than that was shared. However, multiple conclusions can be drawn from what's seen. It starts with a masked woman seemingly trying to enter the man's house, until she notices the doorbell camera, at which point she stares into the camera for almost 40 seconds. Halfway into her disturbing gaze into the camera, she puts on a pair of goggle-type glasses and pulls the mask covering her mouth and nose up higher onto her face, clearly trying to mask her identity as much as possible.
Well, that's fucking dumb.
Before she walks away, she makes several hand gestures into the camera, then turns and appears to grab something from behind one of the walls of the house.
Gang shit.
As she slowly walks away from the house, you might assume she's leaving for good. However, you can see she continues to pace back and forth in front of the house until the video hits the 2-minute mark, at which point the doorbell camera is set to stop recording. After the video ends, however, according to neighbors, the woman was seen standing outside the house for at least another 20 to 30 minutes before finally disappearing. It's not known who this woman was, whether it be a crazy stalker ex-girlfriend or someone completely random. This begs the question, what could she have wanted with the owner of the house? But given everything the woman was wearing from head to toe,
summoning.
it's obvious she came to that house with intentions of masking her identity. Why is a question that may never be answered. And with this last one, we see a scene that seems like it was taken straight from one of the hundreds of stories I've read on the channel. Once again, at some off hour in the night, a woman approached the front door of a Reddit user's dad's friend's house somewhere on the east coast of the United States.
No.
The woman seems to have a slight smile on her face at first, as she looks around the front door of the house all confused like. She stands there for 2 full minutes at least, acting nervous and confused, looking behind her several times in a paranoid manner. But what is most concerning about this unexpected visit was the large kitchen knife in her hand that she looks down at several times in the footage. While the generally accepted theory on this was that the woman has some form of dementia, and while this may be a realistic explanation, this cannot be 100% confirmed simply based on the video. While it is unfortunate if she does in fact have dementia or any other sort of illness that caused her to do this, it would still be hard to imagine just how scary this would be for the owner of the house waking up in the middle of the night to this footage from his doorbell camera. Surveillance cameras in general have come a long way in providing security to people's properties. While Ring doorbell cameras
Give me one more.
Continue to prove to be useful in adding a layer of defense or serving as a mental deterrent to uninvited guests, you clearly have to be cautious about setting up these cameras on the inside of your house because of the potential for hackers to gain access to them, as seen in the first 2 examples in this video.
Why not no more? I like those, they're pretty good. These ones?
In this footage submitted by Jason, something happens that if it weren't caught on dashcam, you wouldn't believe it. It was around 1 in the morning. Jason was on his way to what he thought was going to be the house of a woman he matched with on a dating app.
Oh
The
shit.
person had given
Booty
Jason
call.
their address over the app. They had not exchanged numbers. After putting the address into his phone, he realized that not only was the address 20 minutes away, it was also in a less desirable side of town. Against his better judgment, he got in his car anyway to head to the given address, which was in a cul-de-sac. After entering the cul-de-sac, he realized all 3 houses had all their lights out, and when he tried to message the girl he matched on the dating app, she would no longer answer. After waiting a few minutes for an answer, he realized the person had unmatched him, meaning it may have been a trick or prank, and so he turned the car around. As he was leaving the cul-de-sac, he noticed someone on the sidewalk stepping out into the street, and so he locks his doors and slows down. This is the footage captured on the dash cam.
Let me slow down. Fuck all that shit.
The footage is kind of grainy, so it's hard to make out some of the smaller details. But
Run
basically
this
what
fucker
happened
over,
was
bruh.
Jason slowed down as he saw a masked person walking into the middle of the street, immediately knowing something was off because there was nothing across the street except a busy highway. So he locks his door and comes to a stop as the person is directly in front of his car. Then the masked person reaches into his pocket, grabs a handgun that's a little hard to see in the video due to lighting, and starts running towards his driver's side door. Jason immediately steps on the gas and drives past the man, who then tries to open the door, which thankfully was locked mere seconds earlier. It's hard to see unless you pause and zoom in, but the man in the video was wearing a creepy smiling mask. The man didn't fire any rounds.
Bro, of course you can do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure legally, right? I mean, I don't want to do legal advice, but if somebody's in the middle of the street and threatens you with a weapon of any kind and runs towards your car, bro, I mean, you have a weapon to defend yourself, the car, you can run this motherfucker over, bro. Fuck that guy.
That's also under the assumption that the gun was even loaded or real. It's not that uncommon to hear about people using fake guns in scenarios like this. What was strange about this was while even though it was in a less desirable end of town, it was still a very residential block right next to a highway, so it was a slightly questionable place to pull this. However, it doesn't take a detective to put the pieces together that this was a setup through the dating app to lure some unsuspecting guy to a dead-end road in order to rob him at gunpoint, or worse. According to Jason, the spot in which the man stepped into the street was out of view of any houses as it ran alongside a long fence and bushes. Jason reported the whole incident to the police, including the given address. Jason was accompanied with a police officer to knock on the door of the address in question the next day, and an older woman who claimed to live alone answered the door. She claimed she had nothing to do with it, and that's obviously pretty likely to be the truth, meaning a random person simply chose that address because the street was low-key and hidden, debatably a perfect spot to try and set somebody up. Luckily, Jason didn't decide to stay put and got away without harm, because who knows what could have happened. Before the next clip, I just want to talk about today's sponsor, Aura. I read a lot of horror stories on this channel, but a growing horror story in America will get its fire began on the chimney tops. On November 23, 2016, the day before Thanksgiving, a fire began on the Chimney Tops Trail in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The fire was sparked by a group of kids playing with matches in the woods.
Oh, fuck
and it
that.
was fueled by unusually high winds. Flames erupted.
Oh, link this video in chat. Sorry.
In a remote area with steep terrain that made access to the fire difficult for firefighters. Crews spent 3 days working to create a containment area lower down the mountain. Helicopters flew overhead doing bucket drops to attempt to slow the spread of the fire. On the 4th day, winds picked up and the fire spread, but the Gatlinburg fire chief said projections showed no immediate threat to Gatlinburg. Despite the predictions, on Monday, November 28th, dry weather and extreme winds caused the fire to grow rapidly. That evening, wind gusts of up to 87 miles per hour sent embers flying into Gatlinburg, wreaking havoc on the city and surrounding communities. Town officials reported that evacuation alerts were sent out to residents' cell phones, but many residents said they never received any alerts.
Jesus.
14 people were killed and 191 people were injured in the fire. The flames destroyed nearly 2,500 homes and left an estimated $2 billion worth of damages.
Wait, that's
Resident
insane.
Michael Luciano recorded his and his stepbrother's horrifying escape down the mountain. During the drive down, just about every single passing cabin is seen engulfed in flames.
Oh, God.
We'll get out of it. Hit the gas.
I can't see.
You can see. Why is every cabin on fire? Fuck. I don't think.
Jesus, man.
Dude, this started at Natty Branch. We're going the wrong way.
What?
Oh God, that was a beautiful cabin too. Not now.
And at multiple points, the two men find themselves stuck behind fallen trees.
Chat. If it's in chat, what do you do? Do you not turn AC on? Do you turn AC on? What do you do? Because I guess the car is intaking a bullshit fucking burned dog.
Go through it. Go through it.
Oh, fuck.
We cannot be stuck. Try it on the left side where these sticks are short. Get a running start.
Even at one point getting stuck behind another driver, which happened to be an old man who rolled his window down to tell Michael that he couldn't see.
Does this motherfucker want to die here?
Like, fucking...
What is wrong with you? Go!
What a moron.
Get out of here!
The old man ended up pulling to the side and following Michael's taillights down the mountain. At certain points, it seems very likely the men aren't going to make it out alive.
Oh
But
my
by
God, that
some
was so
stroke
scary.
of
What the
luck,
fuck?
they made it to the containment area with only minor damages to their truck. Their luck didn't just end there, though. Their cabin survived the fires with very little damage, despite its close proximity to the surrounding engulfing flames.
What the fuck
While
kind of
this
flag is
footage
that?
can almost make you feel like you're in the truck with them, it obviously can't compare to the actual fear of being in the suffocating heat inside the truck mixed with tension of the life or death situation at hand.
Was that a Ford F-150 available now in store?
In this footage,
or not?
a young girl who wished to remain nameless, so I'll refer to her as Amanda, was driving home from her boyfriend's house. She had just pulled out of the driveway and started heading down her boyfriend's block when a car in the middle of the road came into view. The car wasn't moving but didn't have its hazards on, so Amanda waited for a few moments until the driver in front of her lowered his window and waved for her to go around him, so she did. Upon passing the car, she quickly realized the car behind her started moving as well, which at first wasn't too weird, but it became clear very soon that the car was following her after it started making the same turns she made. She started to make as many random
Fucking
turns
brake
as possible.
check the bus,
Sure
brake's
enough, the
engine.
car behind her stayed on her tail.
Is that how that works in real life?
She then calls her boyfriend, which I muted at her request for privacy, and she explained to him that somebody was following her. He reassured her to keep calm and everything would be fine, and to just drive to the nearest police station. So she looked up the nearest police precincts, and when they were only a few blocks away from it, the car behind her turned the opposite way, likely because they knew she was going to the police station. Still on the phone with her boyfriend, she told him the car behind her turned a different direction, so her boyfriend assured her she should be fine to go straight home. Just be cautious. Amanda drove home after this, which was in the same town, so it was unlikely to be a long trip home. She even checked to make sure the coast was clear before parking her car and going inside. But later in the night, she woke up to this. Amanda heard sounds right outside her bedroom
Wait,
window.
why would you open
like
the
someone
window-
was trying to
the-
lift
the-
it open
the
from the
lights?
outside. Once she turned the lamp on, the noise stopped. She called for her dad when she realized what was happening, and the occurrence was immediately associated with the vehicle that was following her earlier. So the family called the police to file a police report and showed them the dashcam footage of the vehicle following her. The vehicle could be identified as a BMW, and Amanda was asked if she knew anyone who owned a BMW that might want to hurt her. The only
I mean,
person she
most
could think
of
of was a guy
the
named
owners-
Christopher Crea, somebody who she blocked on social media for obsessive harassment, who happened to drive a black BMW. These were the last texts Christopher had sent to Amanda before she blocked him. Christopher happened to know Amanda's boyfriend personally through mutual friends, and through those connections, he knew where he lived. So the idea that this Christopher guy waited outside Amanda's boyfriend's house suddenly became a possibility. As an idle threat, Amanda's boyfriend sent an Instagram
anyone
DM
fans
to
that I'm
Christopher
like-
that she was filing for a restraining
one
order if he
whole
bothered her
minute.
again. But his response was him acting confused and claiming he hadn't bothered her. Whether it was acting or not is a mystery, but nothing happens again at Amanda's house after that, so it doesn't seem too far-fetched that it could have been this Christopher guy. The following dashcam footage was taken in the vehicle of Uber driver Christina Spikuza, and I want to warn you, while there is no actual graphic footage shown, the story behind it is upsetting. 38-year-old mother of four Christina Spikuza was doing some night drives on February 10th, 2022, when 22-year-old Calvin Crew used his girlfriend's phone to order an Uber. Christina accepted the ride and picked Calvin up. He gets into the car in a sketchy mask covering his entire face except for his glowing eyes. She greets him by asking for Tanea and how are you today, but he doesn't answer either question, or if he did, it was likely an inaudible grunt.
What the fuck?
Hi. How are you?
Taz. Wait, should I just skip it then? It's not Taz, really.
Christina was extremely polite to Calvin, even asking how his day was going a few minutes in.
Did you have a good day today?
Calvin is seen turning to check if the coast was clear, and then lifting his mask up slightly before pulling a gun on Christina and threatening her.
32 months XQCL.
I'm sorry? You've got to be joking.
Keep driving.
What are you doing?
This is a gun. Keep driving.
No, it's not. Stop. Come on, man. I got a family. What are you
I got
doing?
a family too. Now drive.
What are you doing?
Drive.
Please stop.
Drive the car, miss.
Why are
Just
you
drive.
doing
Don't
this?
Don't make this so noticeable. Just drive.
Why are you doing this?
Drive the car.
To
Complete
where?
the trip.
I cannot do that.
Complete the trip.
Why are you doing this?
Complete the trip.
Please?
He tells her to cancel the ride so that it could no longer be tracked. Not long after, he grabs her phone to gain access to her banking apps to transfer money to his girlfriend's phone.
Get off of me.
What?
No, no.
Keep driving.
Before grabbing the dash cam and throwing it out the window, he tells her that everything will be okay if she does what he says.
Do what I say and everything will be alright.
But that later proved to be a lie. Christina's body was discovered by an Amazon driver 2 days later, lying in the woods 50 feet off the road, with a single gunshot wound to the head. Detectives found Christina's dashboard camera along the route of her last Uber ride, and the footage provided all the evidence necessary to prosecute Calvin for her murder. Prosecutors are currently seeking the death penalty for Calvin.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Jesus. Bro, transferring money to somebody's bank account? Like, how low IQ can you be? Bro, that's like... Bro, that's sub-zero fucking popsicle IQ type shit, man. What the fuck? That's just popsicle. Top right? I've never seen this before, have we not? This is open in your... Wait, is that the number one?
There's no way XQCL.
This video was captured by a Reddit user's doorbell camera. He claims to have woken up to his dog going crazy outside, followed by a notification from the app Ring, saying motion was detected at his door. Upon opening the app, he's greeted to nothing but an eyeball looking directly into his camera, and a man whispering and mumbling to himself. He proceeds to knock and ring the doorbell. He then begins trying his luck at the doorknob and window, all the while still mumbling and whispering to himself. After the homeowner threatens to call the police, the man gets defensive and claims he was just looking for his dog, conveniently named Fido.
Okay, I was just looking for my dog, Fido.
Classic Fido, man.
You know, like that stuff, honey. You know, we could be friends.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
In this video,
could be
we
friends.
see a man seemingly waiting to be let into a house. Whether it's his house or not is unknown. As he waits by the door, a strange animal-like transparent figure can be seen floating towards the door, and as it reaches and passes the man, he turns, possibly reacting to a sound he may have heard.
What? Okay, it's a fake shit though. Oh, what would it even be? Oh, it's Fido from the first clip.
These are two clips that were likely taken back during the entire clown epidemic of 2016. In this first clip, we see someone dressed as a clown wielding a small sword, lurking around by the front door for a bit and running off after ringing the doorbell.
Bro, what if you had a mechanism that would like release a big bag of bricks right above him and just fucking like do like fucking permanent brain damage, bang, and just fucking crush his skull.
Similarly, in this next clip, someone dressed as a clown can be seen standing in the distance, looking at the front door. After a while, he approaches the door, seems to stare into the doorbell camera for a few seconds, then walks away.
42-month sex.
Whether these were pranks meant to scare the homeowners or not, most people wouldn't want to open their doors to these two.
Chat, what if the doormat had a trap, like a trap door, and it puts it inside of a well, but the 20-foot drop before it gets there, boom, it crashes his legs.
In this video, around 2 p.m., the man in the dark hoodie seen here apparently rang the doorbell and no one answered. The man who lives in this house was wearing headphones, therefore couldn't hear the doorbell. So the man in the hoodie likely presumed no one was home, and soon returned with his friend in the white hoodie around 15 minutes later. The man in the dark hoodie attempts to kick in the door, while his friend in the white hoodie stands by. The man who owns the house is able to hear the loud bangs of the attempted burglar's foot hitting the door, and he yells out something unintelligible that scares the two men off.
Well, that's not even close to getting it done. The fuck? Jesus, this guy, bro.
Super
In this
Mario
video,
Sunshine.
the camera catches a shirtless man approaching the door, but instead of actually ringing the bell or knocking on the door, he pretends to knock on the door. What you can't see on the screen is a car that's waiting for the man in front of the house.
Friendly
According to the
reminder that I'm still
homeowner,
in
he
your
could be seen
walls.
talking to someone waiting in the car off camera later on. It's likely that the shirtless man was forced to do something by the person in the car. Clearly something that he doesn't want to do, given that he fakes an entire conversation with the homeowner, all the while checking to make sure the person in the car could see him talking.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Wait, but at that point, if you need help, I mean, might as well
It
actually
was
knock.
apparent
You don't
he
know.
or the person in the car were looking for a person named Matt, who they thought lived in this house. One could only imagine what this man was put out to do to this Matt person. In this video, the doorbell camera detects motion, but seemingly nothing appears in the frame except for a small white orb that
Oh,
floats across
fuck
the
off
screen.
with these, bro.
Some paranormal-
I don't care, bro.
This one isn't a video, but rather a pretty disturbing picture caught by a Redditor's doorbell camera. After being woken up by a notification on their phone, they checked it to see a message saying, "Your doorbell detected a visitor." After checking the app, they didn't see anything, and as anyone would, assumed it was maybe a bug or a small animal that tripped the motion sensor. However, the Redditor received more notifications, and after checking the app again, was faced with this disturbing image. Whether it's even a male or female is almost impossible to tell.
Now hear me out,
But perhaps
chat.
the most disturbing
Doorbell, but it has a slot to put juice in, and a spray disposal, right? And the guy zooms in, and you say hostile, and shoots poison.
part of the image is the shape and distance of the person's eyes. It's not something anyone would ever want to see at their front door. In this video, we see someone wearing a mask approaching the door and covering the doorbell with a piece of tape. The homeowner got an alert that motion was detected on the porch, and upon checking the footage was ready to grab his gun. It's not known what was done while the tape was covering the camera, but eventually one side of the tape peeled off, revealing the person in the mask was gone. The homeowner doesn't know if it was simply kids playing a prank or someone who meant him and his family harm. This video shows exactly why you should always check who's outside your door before opening it.
What the fuck is that? Is that a Tech 9?
This doorbell camera caught two men in front of the house. One of them approaching the front door. and
What
ringing
the
doorbell,
fuck? Actual
armed with a
Tech
gun.
9!
He attempts to hide his face as he approaches the door, then hides off to the side, waiting for someone to open up. The other man walks down the sidewalk, waiting for his friend to do whatever he was about to do. But luckily, nobody answered the
No,
door.
it's literally bro. It's actually Tech 9. Look at this shit.
But luckily, nobody answered.
Look, you didn't get the bell and
the
shit.
door.
That's dank.
This homeowner's camera captured two suspicious men pull up in their driveway and wait outside their front door. The one on the left quickly notices the camera and the two flee.
Bro, what is this? What the fuck? Engage.
But not even 15 minutes later, the two pull up into the homeowner's driveway again, having apparently decided they'd go through with the break-in anyway. This time, one of them immediately attempts to kick the door down, but the homeowner is ready this time and speaks through the doorbell speaker, claiming the police are on their way, scaring the two off for good this time.
Alright. Bro, these just pull up with their plate on, no mask, nothing. Bro, what is this fucking, what is this? Popsicle IQ, man.
On September 10th, 2018, a Florida man wearing a bulletproof vest and carrying an assault rifle rang his neighbor's doorbell at 4 in the morning. The homeowner grabbed her 2 children and stayed put in the bathroom.
Bro?
After spotting the man on her security footage, she immediately called the police and her husband, who was out of town for work. Roughly 25 minutes later, the police arrived.
Bro.
The man faced aggravated assault charges. The homeowner said the daughter of the unnamed man had stayed at their home recently, claiming she was afraid of her own father.
Bro, you said Florida man? Bro, it's enough of me.
At some off hour in the night, this man's doorbell camera captures a mysterious, transparent-looking, blurry figure slowly
not
moving
this
down the
shit
sidewalk
again,
across the
dude.
street.
Oh, come on. I'm not scared of ghosts, they're just not real. This is just fucking a waste of time. Bro, the theories just don't make sense. Listen, it's all in the mathematics. Think about the probabilities. If all the ghosts, if the ghosts were real, right? Why are all of them bad and would kill or push, or why wouldn't they write on a paper what are the combination to the lottery and shit like that? Imagine some like just give you gold and shit like that. Rob the bank, give you some dividends, give you password to like bank accounts and shit like that. Why don't there ghosts that are helpful?
Resembles a human, and that's what most may assume. But the weird part of this one is that after reviewing the footage, the homeowner asked a neighbor who also had a camera to check their footage at the same time. And their footage didn't reveal the figure walking down the sidewalk.
Chat, if I was a ghost, I was in my entire day, chat, making somebody's tires of their car deflate them a little bit, pull a sparks plug. I would do every unlucky thing that could happen to somebody, all of it, and the guy would just think, I'm just unlucky, and he would get every unlucky thing until he fucking loses his mind and goes into fucking asylum. Dude is on a date. A hot girl, right? Goes for the TV to do Netflix and chill. Out of battery. Swaps battery. These batteries are also out of battery. Dude says, no, I got this. These brand new ones. All out of battery. Cannot open the TV. Holy shit. Hole in condom.